The worst part wasn't that Ada died. The worst part was how long it took anyone to believe her. It was a rainy Thursday night, the kind that soaks your soul and makes you want to stay inside, curl up and forget the world. That was the night Ada didn't come back. The night I heard things I should have never heard. But maybe I should start from the beginning. My name is Chiamaka. I live next door close to Pa Dixon in Umokwe village, a sleepy part of Imo State where gossip spreads faster than fire in dry harmattan. I was 17 when it all happened. Back then, I thought I had seen evil before. Tales of witches, forest spirits and Obanjo children filled our childhood. But what happened to Ada was something else, something raw, something no one wanted to talk about. Ada was beautiful even as a child. She had the kind of body people whispered about, the kind that made grown men stare too long. By the time she was 13, she already looked 16. Her hips came in early and her chest didn't wait. It was a curse more than a blessing. Her parents were regular folks. Her father, Mr. Okafor, worked in the city. Her mother, Adako, sold foodstuffs in the village market. They were hardly ever home, so they would drop Ada at her grandfather's house every other weekend, especially during long school breaks. That was Pa Dixon, old grain retired teacher and a widower who lived alone in a 3-room bungalow with a zinc roof that screamed with every raindrop. I used to think he was kind. He was the one who taught me how to read, gave me old textbooks when I couldn't afford new ones. But people like Pa Dixon are the ones you never suspect. They hide their demons behind quiet smiles and polite greetings. At first, it was little things. I would catch him staring at Ada from behind his curtain as she walked in the compound. I told myself maybe I imagined it. Then I saw him once at the back of the house, touching her waist when she tried to serve him garri and okra soup. Her hand flinched like she'd never been shocked. I asked her later if everything was okay. She just smiled. He's old and forgetful, that's all. She never said more than that, not until that rainy night. The rain started around 6 p.m. I remembered because the NEPA lights went off just before it began. The kind of rain that drenches the air, the kind that sounds like it's scrubbing the earth clean. Ada's parents didn't show up that evening. Adako later said the road was flooded near Urata Junction and they couldn't make it back. I stayed up late that night. The rain made it hard to sleep. That was when I heard it, muffling, crying, coming through the tin walls. Pa Dixon's house was right next to ours, and when the rain softened, the sounds came clearer. At first, I thought it was the TV. Then I heard something slam. A chair, a door, then a cry, sharp, high-pitched, then silence. I wanted to go there, I swear I did, but my mother had locked the door and gone to bed, and something inside me said to wait. The next morning, Ada came out of that house like a ghost. Her eyes were red and her wrapper hung wrong on her shoulder. I ran to her. "Are you okay?" I asked. She looked at me. For a moment, I thought she would tell me. Her lips parted. Then she shook her head and walked away. It wasn't until 3 days later that she told her mother. They were sitting under the mango tree in her compound. I was peeling egusi seeds nearby, pretending not to listen. Ada was quiet. Then I heard her whisper. He touched me. Adako frowned. "What do you mean?" Ada didn't look up. He touched me inside. The silence that followed was louder than thunder. Adako stood, slapped her so hard I heard the crack. "What kind of nonsense talk is that? Your grandfather? Are you mad?" Ada just cried, curled into herself like a leaf trying to disappear. Adako dragged her inside, and that was the end of that, at least for a while. But you can't bury truth forever, especially not the kind that grows in the belly. It was 2 months later when Ada fainted at church. She was sweating and pale. The women gathered around, fanning her with hymn books. Pastor Emeka called for water, but it was Mama Nuke, the village nurse, who gave the verdict after checking her pulse and belly. "She's with child." Gasps filled the air. Pastor dropped his Bible. Adako stood frozen like a carved statue, and I couldn't believe. They took her home. There were no doctors, no counselors, no police, just silence and shame. I visited her the next day. She was lying on a raffia mat, staring at the ceiling. She didn't look pregnant, just tired, hollowed out. Did you tell them it was Pa Dixon? I asked. She didn't nod, didn't blink, just whispered, "Nobody believes me." I wanted to cry, but I didn't. I held her hand instead. It was cold. Things got worse from there. Adako refused to talk about it. She said it was spiritual attack. Someone had sent evil to her daughter. They tried prayers, fasting, night vigil, but nothing helped. Ada kept getting sicker, thinner. Then came the plan to remove the baby. Someone said there was a woman in Noria who did it quietly. She's clean, no stories, they said. But there's nothing clean about back alley abortions. They took her one early morning before the sun came up. I don't know what happened in that room. All I know is that when they brought her back, she wasn't moving. She died that night. Bled out before anyone could get her help. The woman in Norway disappeared. No trace, no arrest. They buried Ada 2 days later. Just a small ceremony, no church, no hymns, just hurried digging and more silence. Pa Dixon didn't come. He locked himself in his house for days. Then one day he just vanished. Someone said he fled to his brother's place in Asaba. Others said he went mad in the forest and was eaten by spirits. I never saw him again. But sometimes, late at night, when the rain starts to fall, I still hear her crying. And I wonder if we all failed her, if I failed her.